What's happening, boys?
Someday.
I did the Wayne Mardle thing when they hit the 9 darters. I cannot speak. I can't speak. That's what I was like with Craig Gordon. We'll talk this whole podcast. If you don't want to talk about Craig Gordon save, then this is not the podcast for you, because there's nothing else to talk about other than that. But we can try. Fucking hell, I'm not built for. I can't do 17 more games of this. Like, I can't. I'm not joking. I just can't do it.
I know what you're like at games, so I can just imagine you barely even watched any of that second half.
For the sending off time.
Right, okay, cool.
For the sending off. I don't think I watched a single thing. Well, I watch it all, but it's through the mesh screen of my top or whatever. But, I don't know. I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. We can't do this 17 more times. So we're going to have to spend 50, 60 million or something and just get unbelievable players in, because I can't. My heart can't handle any more of that. Like, absolutely no chance. Yeah, Tam, what's been happening?
Not much, mate. Not much. I just the game day. Then I've missed it last week, but you boys done a good podcast with me, and then we've had quite a bit of Twitter comments and around the atmosphere and multiple conversations about it. So it's good to get that conversation started. So well done to you.
Aye, and in that vein, tomorrow, 7 o'clock on Hearts Standard. So obviously last week I said that I emailed Hearts because obviously I think everybody came away from it. The players, the club, everybody had been talking about the atmosphere against Livy on Saturday. And that's what I talked about. The difference, the day, 90 minutes, 91st minute, 92nd minute, 93rd minute, it's all boo, blow your whistle, and then absolute bedlam, delirious joy because we've won. That should have been what it was like at Livy last week. Every 3 points is massive. It does not matter how we get them. It just matters about 3 points. We've got 17 more games to go. Actually, when you take the fact that we're 6 points in front, it's 15 more games when you start looking at points, etc., etc. So we've got 9 home games left. We need to do something. So like I said, I emailed the club. The club, to their absolute credit, and it's always hard because they don't want to be named, the people that work in the club. And we did the same when we did the funded by the fans, run by clowns. Obviously, you can't put ... not the stadium manager, not the ticket manager, not the commercial manager, not like you can't list you can't put all the lists, say everybody that's in it. So club responded to say that they've also been talking about it. I think they spoke to the players, I think they spoke to the manager about what could be improved, what could get better, and they've put the wheels in motion for, I believe they're going to try something different for the Falkirk game in the Cup. If it's a success and if people like it, then we'll do that for the remainder of the games or until people get bored of it or whatever. So it's good that the club have acknowledged that. So tomorrow, obviously I talked to Mark and Scott and Scarce around the funnel, spoke to Joel Sked about all the same stuff, talked to Laurie, Hearts TV, talked to Rob Borthwick, talked to everybody. And basically tomorrow, 7 o'clock on YouTube, on Hearts Standard, me, Mark Donaldson, Scott, Joel Sked, Barry Anderson and Alan Preston will be on a fan forum type thing on Hearts Standard, talking about atmosphere and basically just ideas, people's views on it, what they think we can do, because obviously I come from a lens of where I think I have a pretty decent idea as to how it could improve the atmosphere, but I know that that's not going to be the same for everybody, given that, I would happily have no music at all at football. I'd been the set pies, there'd be no pie and juice stalls, there'd be nothing. It would just be standing terrace and back to the 70s peeing each other's legs or whatever. And again, that's not going to be the best for everybody. So jump on tomorrow, the club will be watching, listening, taking comments. The club genuinely want. That's tomorrow on Hearts Standard. All right. Just because we jumped in there because you said that, Sam. So that's where we are anyway. Yeah, what's been happening?
Before you do that, can you just check your mic lead because it just cut out weirdly?
Who, me or
you?
Me. Can you hear me now?
That's better. Aye.
What cut out? What was I saying?
You were just saying it was right there, tail end, so don't worry about it. Obviously.
Okay. Kev, what's been happening? Is what I said.
Not a great deal, mate. Just getting through weekends. I always thought Monday to Friday was the toughest ask that I had in my life now, but it's not. It's effectively the build up to a match, during the match, and then the aftermath. So I'm actually hoping to go back to work tomorrow just for a bit of peace and quiet and
for the breather, mate.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So other than that, not a great deal.
Well, obviously we will talk. Dundee 0, Heart of Midlothian 1. We moved 6 points clear of Celtic, 3 points clear of Rangers. Rangers have played a game more than us, so we'll look over the game, talking points. Look forward to Wednesday night now and another huge match as we play St Mirren at Tynecastle, and then we'll go over the news as we are in the depth of the January transfer windows. We've had signings, we've had departures, we've got injury suspensions now, so we'll have a wee discussion on where we think that takes us for business and what we're up to. And then, as always, get your comments in. Flash them up. Any questions that we have, we'll get them. Any decent comments, remember that that's your job in this podcast. Flex them up. Cool. Right. Sound good, boys?
Class.
Sounds perfect.
Right. Kev, what's been happening in the Gorgian news sphere?
It's been quite a busy week, actually, given the fact that, as you rightly say, the January transfer window opened last weekend. Of course, we knew that Altena had came in from Holland, but there was a lot of rumour going about and various other stories and everything else in regards to Islam Chesnikov. However, he arrived late on the Saturday night after the Livy game, went through his visa application. It was all granted as of Tuesday afternoon, and he's been in training from Wednesday. We seem to have a massive following now on social media from Kazakhstan, which is quite interesting. One of the boys and one of the other chats that I'm part of was saying, what are the chances of us doing some form of blue and yellow away strip next season and just sell it solely in Kazakhstan? We'll make an absolute millions. So that might be an idea for the background team.
Was it
other news in regard?
Was it 96 that we had the Strongbow yellow away kit? Was it 95?
95, 96. Was it no 90,
because 96 was the only one, wasn't it? I think it might have been 94. Aye. Because that was an absolute belter.
You loved that. Don't know how many of the originals are still going about, but we'd be interested to see who's still got an original version of that.
I do love that.
So Chesnikov came in. We've also got someone returning back from the African Cup of Nations with Kabori. So Kabori's back. I think it was Ivory Coast, the knocked out Burkina Faso. So he returned, but of course he was in the match day squad today. So from that point of view, most people will know that. We've also, of course, Finlay has signed a 2-year contract. So it's a pre-contract effectively. He'll be out by or out of contract with Oxford at the end of this season. But we've got him for until the summer of 2028 at this moment in time. So there are the announcements in regards to folk coming in or coming back to the club. Sandra Clark's went out on a 6-month loan deal out to Doncaster Rovers, which I found was a bit of a strange move, but I guess at the end of the day, he just wants to be playing football. And the other bit of news is Anne Park retires at the end of this month. I know a lot of people have got opinions in regards to Anne, in regards to what she's done. But again, it goes back to she's done a lot of good work, getting us to a better position financially and everything else. And now is the next step. And I know we spoke about this, I think it was last week, Corbett, or maybe a couple weeks ago, around the whole change of guard as such. So from that point of view, we have got new bodies and new faces coming into the boardroom with new, fresh ideas on how we can move forward as a club, as a business, and with that start to actually challenge, get more money in, and from that point of view, ideally put trophies in a trophy cabinet.
Yeah. Watched Chesney warming up. He's going to be an absolute superstar. Already decided that he's the best player that we've
just
ever
on his warm-ups.
signed. Class in the warm-up.
Just a shame he wasn't a centre half today, because he's no chance of getting on.
But again, brilliant business for Stuart Findlay as well. I think that we've looked at what we've done. We've managed to get in early. We need the right back, got a right back. Need the right winger, got a right winger. Tie down arguably one of our best players for the season so far, and Stuart Findlay. That partnership between himself and Halkett, and you've seen it today. You know, as much as we laugh, it's now just superstition that I look at my shoes. I'm looking at my shoes, almost knowing fine well that we'll be absolutely fine, because it's been a long time since I trusted a Hearts side as much as I trust this Hearts side, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no passengers even today, whether you're looking at there's foreign boys in there heading to Dundee, seen it in the way it looked like it's something out of Chernobyl, thinking, what the fuck have I got myself into coming up here? But they run themselves into the ground. I thought Kabori played well when he came on, did exactly what he was meant to do. I did laugh that Shankland obviously had a wee tantrum getting taken off, but Shankland's hold-up plays phenomenal. But in that part of the game, it was about turning them. It was about hitting the channel and playing with pace rather than trying to hold the ball up when essentially we're playing 5-3-1. So we were up there by themselves. It was literally just to run into the corners and put pressure on them. But I thought everybody played brilliantly. There was obviously tough conditions, down to 10 men. But it's been great to see that, in the window, that we're doing our business early, and we're getting a good balance of that sort of core British group, and then adding in talent rounding about them, rather than just sort of, it seems methodical, which is one of the things that for the last wee while seems that we can be quite scattergun when it comes to some of these windows. Maybe that's because Joe Savage was a Virgo or whatever it was. Maybe now that Jamestown's more a Sagittarius, we can get a bit better in the transfer market.
Definitely looks like it's putting us sort of ahead of the other two that are challenging us at the moment as well. There seems to be, well, say 11th, and Celtic still haven't signed a striker. We've filled our gaps already, and it's good to see.
Yeah. And like I say, I think the other thing for them as well is that, and it's something that I'm really happy that we haven't went down that route, is when you're two prestigious clubs, if that's what you would call them, or the two biggest clubs in your country, are bringing in loan players from down south from big teams that wouldn't take a risk on them. I don't think it's a good look for them, and I don't think it's a good look for the game. If Mikey Moore's not good enough to play for Tottenham, then arguments would have been over the years that he's not good enough to play for Rangers. And I see that Rangers have spent some money today, but I've seen that they're trying to get a couple of boys on loan from Sunderland. I think Celtic are looking in the loan market and that as well. So it's good that we seem to have quite a clear strategy when it comes to recruitment. I think we're still trying to bring in Roger Matos as well. I think that's been heavily documented in the press now, that we're trying to figure out what his they want 1.3 million for him, but the club seem fairly certain that there's some form of release clause that we can trigger. So
1.3 million, but he's only got 5 months left to his contract as well, which is mental. Never paying that.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's been. It's reported it's €700,000 is the release clause. I think we probably did underball that a little bit with the 350 that we did put in. But if we really want him, just go and do it. But I think from what I've read anyway, it seems to be the other team, Vadua, they're the ones that are being a little bit awkward and difficult to deal with. I think that's a couple of reports I've seen anyway.
Was their player? We'd be the same. We'd be the same way. We've got no obligation to play ball just because we want the player. I think that they've said that they're still going for the league title and they're still in a cup. So you can get why they would be saying it, but it's definitely a player that the club are pretty set on getting, which should be decent. It's another attacking option should it come in. What are you expecting? Exits? Cabangu, I think, and Khartoum probably pretty close to exits.
Khartoum's away Australia, is it? Or something? I believe. Waiting for their window to open.
Is it MLS?
That's again, come on. No, Australian A-League.
All right, okay.
Australian A-League. I would say, Cabangu is another one. The fact that you mentioned it earlier on about his game, Kabori just getting into the channels, doing all the sort of hard running work. That's exactly what Cabangu could have been doing as well. The fact that we've went with Kabori over Cabangu today does say to me that he's off to pastures new. Which, let's be honest, it's not a bad turnaround if you get some money for
We were actually going to bring Cabangu on today.
Saw that on TV.
We brought Kent, Kabori, and Cabangu. We were going to bring them on, but then didn't bring Elton on. This sounds really daft, right? But it's one of the things that when you watch the full-time celebrations today is that the folks sitting on the bench seem genuinely buzzing, which is like Cabangu was celebrating almost as hard as everybody else.
Like he would have gave Craig Gordon a big hug and that, like everyone else was, but it doesn't shows that it's all still one unit.
Craig Gordon's just from a windblower.
There is that.
There is that, but it's good. It is good to see. I think that it's one of the things we talked about last week that the manager takes great credit for. The use of the bounce games seems to be working hugely for us at keeping and getting everybody on the pitch and still feeling like they're connected to the first team. Jamie McCart's come on today, centre half. They've asked him if he could play left back because of the injury to Milne, and then obviously the issue with Kingsley. And yes, we had absolutely nothing from an attacking sense down that side, but from a defensive point of view, he was absolutely solid. I thought he had a really, really good game. Did everything that you would want him to do from a defensive point of view, up against their best player as well, that Congreve. I was playing on that side, so it was no mean feat. And I thought he acquitted himself really well. So, aye. What about yours? As Tam, we spoke about this last week, but what about you for the transfer window? Is there anybody or any positions you still feel we should strengthen in?
Well, the other with Matto, if he's coming in, I think we're pretty much done. I would like to see a bit more of an attacking midfielder come in, but at the same time, you've got Aju, our most expensive player, sitting on the sideline at the moment. So hopefully come back in February and he could be that player. But that'd be the only other thing I would maybe add.
Cool. Have any comments or anything? Anybody say any different?
Neil Rennick has read today that he has 12 months left and it's a pre-contract he can sign in the summer in regards to Matto. But
I think he signed a 6-month extension, did he not?
Yeah, I thought that as well. As you say, it's very similar to the Chesnikov side of things. You're in a title race, you want to get the most out of that player, and It might be the summer we get him. It might not be. There's also some reports that Trabzonspor, I've said that wrong, in Turkey have paid the 1.5 million, but it doesn't seem to be anything in that.
Well, we'll wait and see. Right. Anything else news-wise, Kev?
Nope. As I say, they were the main talking points throughout the week since we last podded. I didn't bother going into the whole rumour mill because if that was the case, we could have been here till about 11:30 tonight.
Yeah.
I'd say one thing, thank God we haven't, look, there was chat of Craig Gordon going out on loan or something like that. But today just shows.
Craig Gordon's not going to go out on loan. Let's not, of many things that Craig Gordon is, remember the number one thing that Craig Gordon is his hearts. He's a Jambo. He's not going to go and sit and miss out on potentially winning a league title with the club that he supports, the club that he came through from youth academy to first team player to international player to club record signing and go out and play. Like he knows fine well. He'll have had conversations with Steve Clarke. If Steve Clarke has said to him, you don't come to the World Cup unless you're playing, then we'd have a different situation. But clearly Steve Clarke and Craig Gordon and Hearts are comfortable that he'll probably have played the cup games anyway. And then now, obviously, if there's an injury to swallow or suspension, that he'd come back in. There was absolutely I was never worried that Craig Gordon would go out on loan. I could see it as a total non-starter for me.
Yeah, I think there's the other aspect is that, and McInnes probably hasn't really spoken about this in the press, but if you were to take Craig Gordon out of that particular squad at this moment in time, you've got nobody in the squad that's won anything. Nobody in the squad that's gone through what we're going to go through over the next, 17 games, as you called it earlier on. So from that point of view, it's not just about having Craig Gordon, playing or in that first 16 on the bench. It's what he does during the games, in the run up to the game, during the week when he's at training. The conversation he has with 2 or 3 boys over lunch or whatever the case may be. That could be invaluable, in my opinion.
Yeah, aye. I was just thinking about save. Like it's even when you watch the replays, it's in, and then you think, what the fuck? But we'll talk about that in a minute anyway. Aye, I didn't think we would lose Craig Gordon. I kind of felt it was writing was on the wall for Zander Clark. You could kind of feel that was always going to come from him. He wants to play football, and whatever's happening there, it just doesn't fit. And again, probably thank Xander for everything that he done. I thought that the season we were finished third, he was absolutely superb. It was a huge part of the reason why we finished third. And actually, there'd be a huge argument to say that when he dropped out of the team, the arse of our season dropped away. But again, that's all hindsight, so we never know. So it's sad to see him go. Hopefully we get an opportunity to say bye to him proper. But I can't see him having a future. Can't see him having a future at Hearts. Right. Let's talk about the game then. Was there anything pre-game that jumped off the page? Any surprises?
I suppose it was just the left-back situation, really. Good news is McInnes said in his post-match press conference that Milne was running yesterday. He actually feels fine, but it's a precaution. They're double-checking that he's all right. And then, obviously, we all probably expected Kingsley. Sorry. But and he was injured as well. So, but as you say, McCart was good, and he done exactly what he was needed to do today.
Well, we were burying Milne according to Kickback on Monday, weren't we? Like he was dead. We were all attending his wake. Yeah. Then he was getting his leg amputated, and now it just looks like he's hurt his ankle a wee tiny bit.
That's fine. Yeah.
But I suppose the left back, I think Kingsley just felt his groin yesterday at the end of training or whatever is what, because they've not been able to train out in the grass, and by the sounds of McInnes, he's reluctant to train on the plastic. And then I think they said they trained at Tynecastle, so they could get out and on grass or whatever, and he just said they felt his groin. So hopefully that means that, because as much as we got away with it today and we've won, from an attacking perspective on Wednesday, we will need a left-hand side, because we had absolutely nothing on, and it was so apparent for like as soon as the game kicked off that Jamie McCart was not overlapping Kizaridis or getting to the byline or anything like that. So it meant we had absolutely nothing.
It was quite
down
funny.
that
You
side.
could see Kizzery just kind of looking to his left as he had held up the ball, and he was just like, "All right, no, it's just me."
Yeah,
There you
there's a
go.
couple of times where Kizzy actually did like knock it into the space. I was like, mate, he's the centre half. He's not getting there. He's not getting
It's
there.
just so Hearts though that we sort of right back situation, right side situation, and then the left goes, and you're like, "Oh fuck's sake."
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll see Milne or Kingsley on Wednesday. I'd imagine. I think Milne's seen a specialist tomorrow, so there's maybe a chance that they'll maybe wrap him in cotton wool if Kingsley's okay until the Celtic game. Just give him a wee break so that he's back for the Celtic game at home. But I don't think there was any other shocks anywhere else. I didn't think Chesnikov would play, given the conditions, given how long he's been here and stuff. That's probably the only other one really that was a bit.
Had the game went differently, he probably would have came on for 10-20 minutes or something, but I didn't expect him to start, personally.
I don't think it was a game. What are you saying, Kev?
No, I just agree with what Tom said. I think if things had been different, we running down to 10 men, backs to the walls, and the game was a bit more open, a bit more free, with 2-0 up, 3-0 up, whatever, then yeah, you're going to see him. But and I'm going to probably go as far to say, Corbett, you mentioned about his warm-ups and that. He probably wanted to get on the park. He wanted to probably show what he can do. But let's leave that little powder keg until Wednesday night.
Aye, well, you could see when he realised that people were cheering for him. Like, I don't know what league he's been playing in or whatever, but obviously a bit like Altina last week, going to an away game and seeing 4,500 fans, more than the home fans that were there, etc. You could see that he seemed genuinely buzzing. So he probably going to be a live wire. It'll be interesting to see if we do start him on Wednesday. Like home crowd at Tynecastle. I was thinking about this the other day. I was trying to think about what the best, like, what would we keep sort of playing the 4-3-3? Would we change? Would we play straight 4-4-2? But I was actually thinking about, we play 4-2-3-1. You got it could be unbelievable. You got hello in goal. Then you got like Milne, Finlay, Halkett, Altina, Benny Devlin, then Kizzy, Braga, Chesney, and Shankland up front. It's like fucking yes. Just play 4-2-4.
Just score more goals than we concede.
Just Kev Keegan it. Just go for it, man.
That's
the game itself, and this sounds, I don't know, it feels probably more in hindsight or whatever, but we've had this before with teams where I felt like teams had this with us, but I felt like even though we were quite sloppy at points in the first half, we were so unbalanced. You could just see that we were just no used to not having Milne there. We were so left-hand side orientated that you could just see we just lacked a bit of fluency. But I felt that we had Dundee's number all game. Even when we went to 10 men, we just knew what we wanted them to do. We knew how we wanted them to play. And even though there was something crazy like 47 crosses or something like that by Dundee in the second half into the box, that was by design. Like, that's what we wanted them to do. We wanted them to go round the outside and put balls into the box, because at one point I was like, we didn't have any more centre halves to put on. Why are we putting just every centre half that we have in the squad, just get them all on because of not being able to play for all season? I think we play a flat back five with 5 centre halves just along the back. It was insane. It was insane. We weren't fluid in any way, shape or form, but I didn't feel that Dundee really put us under any pressure. I actually still think we ended the game with more possession than Dundee. I think it was like 52% possession or something.
It was a couple of percent. They did have a decent chance in the first 10-15 minutes. It looked like it was a decent cross came in, but the actual Boyd header was easy for Swallow to save, and he made it look a little bit theatrical, if you know what I mean. And, the way he's dived and punched the ball away, kind of idea. But
that was right at the very. That was like a minute in, wasn't it?
It was very early on, and Stephen Presley in his his after-match commentary. Shut up. His after-match interview was saying that he actually thought that they were the better team and they controlled the match.
Did he say?
He was watching.
Is that what he said? The lesbian-looking cunt.
No, if he tries saying any S's, he whistles every time, so he's be fucked in that. Like.
He dresses outrageous, man. He looks absolutely insane. He looks mad. But even that, I didn't think that. Yeah, it's a good header, it's a good save, but I just felt that we just needed a moment, bit of combination play, and we'd be okay. We'd had a couple of glimpses. I think Kazanides could have done a bit better actually, with an opportunity in the set right towards the end of the first half when he's slipped in and he drills it across the face of the goal when it was like 3 options. He could have been a bit more cultured. Shankland is incredibly unlucky with his strike. Keeper doesn't even move because he's no idea where it's gone, and it just was like whisker past the post. And then he also had a shot where he dragged it wide with his left foot, but actually just a wee bit more composure. He could have got a decent shot away. And then obviously the goal. It's just everything that we love about Braga. Again, didn't have a brilliant game, but he pops up with the moment, and we've talked about this before on rotation. If Shankland doesn't score, then Braga scores. If Braga doesn't score, Shankland will score. If neither score, Kizzy scores. Like, to have somebody in that front line that carries a threat constant was just, we talked about it last week, Kevin, me and you, saying that Braga's kind of went off the boil a bit. He pops up today, does what he needs to do, gets one chance and scores. It's an absolute peachy finish as well.
It's low. I know there's been a lot of different versions from the west around. The ball wasn't the free kick wasn't taken for the right spot. The ball was rolling. Everyone else tough. Get on with it. There's plenty of occasions where that's been the situation, that they've got the run of the green from that point. But at the end of the day, what you've got to look at is the way the pass from Shankland. And Shankland will not get any credit for it whatsoever. See, if you watch the goal back, the weight of the pass that Shankland makes through to Braga is absolutely brilliant. It is at the right pace, it's at the right point so that Braga can just touch it onto his right foot, give himself the right space and everyone else. It's a great strike into the bottom corner off the post. Keeper was nowhere near it. Neither was any Dundee defender, because they were busy moaning about everyone else. But from me, that goes down as one of the better goals that he has scored over the last 5 or 6 months that he's been with us. From the point of view that he doesn't really think about it. When he starts to think about things, I've said this before, that's where he starts to complicate things. See, when you just let football, be the classic kid in the park kind of idea. He's, at times he's unstoppable.
No, I loved about it as well. His first touch, like, it just takes away the both defenders. Even Shankland's reaction to his first touch. You see it, he has his head in his hands thinking he's fucked it, but it's just a great touch and he gets away from them.
I think that the goal, the reaction for Dundee to the goal, I get, but there's no real advantage for Cammy Devlin taking the pass 5 yards further forward than where it was, because he's still with the ball, still would have carried that 5 yards. They're more annoyed that they're not set themselves. The ball's not rolling, and they're not set themselves. That's
Shankland's still unmarked regardless. Like, he's free. Aye.
And also, we've spoke about stuff like this before, about the dark arts and being clever. They passed the ball to Cammy Devlin. Like, just kick it to like Swallow or something, or kick it into the space. Like, they pass it straight to Devlin. That's why he takes a touch and then plays it quick. What are you doing? Like, if that was Hearts, I'd be furious at that, thinking, why have you Why have you done that? Leave it where it is. Make us go and get it or whatever. So if you want to be annoyed about stuff, be annoyed about how naive your players are. The fact that they're not even set up for the free kick. But I think that if that had happened to us, we'd be screaming. We'd be screaming for it to be a free kick. So I think that I'm happy we take it, but we did get away with one, I think. But then that takes us to the second talking point of the first half, which is, I'm sorry, but that's no red card. His touch has gone back. He's no knocked it past Swallow and he's in on goal. He's actually not. His touch has knocked it backwards. So he's going to have to take a touch. He's going to have to try and retrieve it. And Jamie McCart is literally right there.
We see how quickly he clears it as well. Like it falls straight to him. Yeah.
It's a yellow. I get it's a foul. 100% it's a foul, but it's a yellow card. It's not. That's not a clear and obvious error. It's not a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity. The way that the momentum of the ball, like I said, even if the ball just rolls forward, then it's a red card. 100% it's a red card. But his touch takes that going backwards. The ball rolls backwards, which means that he's not running onto it. He's going to have to check his stride to whatever he has to do. And by the time he does that, Jamie McCart's there.
Yep.
So I think that the keeper can find himself quite unlucky.
Do you contest it as a club?
How many games does he miss?
Just the one.
Well, I believe it's only one. It's only one game that he misses. If the data or if the information that I found is actually correct. Jesus. So the details is it's. You all right, mate?
Sorry, I'm kicking this microphone and it's making the world's most stupidest noises. So apologies, Kev.
You're all right, mate. You're all right. It's usually me. Don't worry about it. So it says denying the opposing team or an opponent a goal or obvious goal scoring opportunity. So as you rightly say, it's not an obvious goal scoring opportunity given the fact that he's not really got the ball under control. Blah blah blah. As a one-match automatic suspension, effective immediately to the next match in the competition in which the sending off offence was reported, subject to paragraph 5 below. So that says to me that he's actually going to miss only this one game, which will be, of course, Wednesday night's game against St Mirren.
I know you've said, Kev, that you like his sort of, I don't know, you didn't know what he's going to do, but what the fuck was he actually doing, man?
What were we doing?
What were we doing? That's true.
What were we doing? If I'm being honest with you, I know I've seen an angle now from the kick from the keeper, but I would need to see it proper with the lines or whatever. But I'm certain the boy that wins, he's offside, number 11. Yeah. He looks offside, wins the head. I don't even know why that's not checked, because his header is the header that flicks it onto the boy. So why are they only checking the boy running onto the ball, not the boy that's winning the header? Stupid.
I've not had the chance to watch it back. But was that from a goal kick or was that from a kick out from the keeper?
So the BBC showed the full spell, Kev, because I know we discussed it earlier. It wasn't a goal kick. So mad.
So if it's not a goal kick, as Corbett said, the boy runs behind. He's behind Finlay when the ball's kicked and then runs in front of him to be able to flip that on. And yeah, okay, I've seen the lines. The lines are terrible. The camera positions are absolutely shocking at Dens Park. So you can't tell whether that's where the lines actually are and everything else. And again, we've spoke about it. I'm not going to give them any more airtime around how poor the camera situation is with regards to VAR in this country. But if it's just been from that actual kick out, then the guy's got to be offside. It's the only way he actually beats Finlay, in my opinion, to a header.
Well, there's a camera angle that Sky showed after the game from the keeper's kick. But again, I'd like to see the lines from it to see where he is, because it's blurry as in it and you can't really see in it and you can't really tell when the keeper kicks it versus when the guy moves. But it looked like that was I don't think anybody had their hand up for offside for the boy that ran onto the ball and then ultimately got fouled. It was for the flick on by number 11. That was what they had their hand up in the air for. So, but again, even just to go back to that, I think if it's onside, which obviously the guy that runs on it is onside, for me, even when he goes to the monitor, he doesn't have to brandish a red card there. You know, he can give him a booking, can't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if that's the rules or not. I think we're making that up. But anyway, he potentially, I don't think that it's a red card. It's just is my opinion on it, and I think it obviously changes the game. It's obvious that it changes the game, because when we come out for the second half, it was pretty obvious that we were now just going to counter. That was just what our game plan was, to try and counter. And I think that with 11v11, I never envisioned a world in where we didn't win from that position. Like, I think that we would have grown into the game. I think that we were growing in the game before the red card. When it came, we scored with the chances that we just spoke about. So, aye, pretty strange game. The only thing, Kev, is if we appeal it, he plays v St Mirren and then he fails, he'll miss Celtic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we put our appeal in.
I get. I guess at the end of the day, it's one of those ones that you've just got to weigh up as a club. What's the best option for us as a club? Do you just accept it? The game's over. We've collected 3 points. It's happened now. You hit the reset button. You go ready again for Wednesday night. But with Craig Gordon in goals. From that point of view, yeah, it's not a bad understudy to have. Let's be honest. And you've got to mention, you're talking about.
On you go, Kev.
No, I was just going to say, you've also got to take into consideration his actual first touch is an actual outstanding save as well. I know we're going to come on to this save, but his first involvement in the game itself is to knock that free kick away. My Wi-Fi's playing up. Playing up there, or somebody's Wi-Fi's definitely playing up. But no, that's the thing. That's it, mine.
It was a very dramatic pause, Kev. I enjoyed it.
Let's just leave it in.
To be honest, though, the free kick save you're talking about, Kev, that's just, you wouldn't expect anything different for Craig Gordon under those circumstances. Like, it is a good save for any other keeper, but at the same time, you're like, aye.
When he was setting the wall up, I was like, what are you doing?
It was so weird.
What are you doing? Like, literally, why are you doing that? Like, you've left all one side of the goal wide open. But who are we to second guess the greatest to ever wear the jersey? Let's talk about it, because it's just fuck all else happened. Nothing else happened. Shanklin had a wee bit of a wobble when he got subbed off, which I don't mind seeing. Captain wants to be out there, etc. But
just hundreds of headers. That was the rest of the half.
I know that was quite a strange. When you go, Kev.
I was going to say, I read that it was 45 crosses we dealt with in the second half. 45 crosses. And I think Halkett put his head on about 40 of them.
It was all the scenarios in which, if you were to sit down and say, I hope this is how the second half plays out, them just launching the ball into the box from any angle was the one I would have picked. Because, like I said, at one point we had 5 centre-halves playing in a straight line along the back. So just chuck the ball into the box, mate. It's absolutely fine. We'll win every single header. And then again, I think that, like, the game passed the midfield by, because they weren't going through the lines. They were literally just going out to the touchline and chucking the ball into the box. But I thought Benny and Devlin were brilliant, trying to win the ball back. Here's a question for you, because it's been we've talked about it, and it's been growing and murmuring under the surface for a bit. But Magnuson again, I don't know if he struggled, but at the game definitely had like times where he lost the ball, picked the wrong pass, turned back into trouble. He just seemed to struggle with the physicality he Dundee at points today.
I'll bring in Givaldo's comment from earlier as well, because he said very similar to what you just mentioned. He said, why is Magnussen playing every minute of every game every week now? He's not that good. Certain players don't get a look in, and now he's playing every game. His form ain't good enough. And a follow-up he's also put in, we're playing against Livy, Dundee, etc., and we don't need free-holding midfielders. Okay against Celtic, but no way we should be playing with free-holding players against these teams.
Yeah, I don't but I think we talked about this last week as well. I don't disagree with what he said about him playing all the time, but I believe that they do see him as a running 8 almost, rather than a sitting 6. Like, I think they see him as the legs in the midfield to go up and support attacks. Today's not a game for, like, the way the game went. You're at 10, shape, tactics, the way you played, it went out the window. You could see that there was no patterns they play. It was, hang on, whether that's right or wrong, we can argue that till we're blue in the face. It worked, and we got the 3 points. But yeah, I agree. I've said this for ages. We just talked about it there, about where we could potentially play Chesnikov in that. When you're at home and you're not playing against the teams that have got as much quality as you, if not more quality than you, like your Celtic Rangers, or in a big game like Hibs, I think we shouldn't be playing with 3. Like you said, 4-2-4 is absolutely sound with me. Take it 2 teams. But like today, I think that everybody had a job to do, and it wasn't being pretty on the ball. And I think that he did struggle. Like, when he didn't struggle at the dirty side of it. He put himself in and about. Yeah, and again, they ended up with a bandage on at one point or something.
Blood on it as well. Yeah.
Like, he did get stuck in and whatever, but it was the bits of the game where actually we won the ball back. We had the opportunity to break. We had the opportunity to hit a channel. We had the opportunity to hold the ball for a bit and relieve some of the pressure, and he just struggled. He couldn't do it for whatever reason. And you know yourself, we've all been there. As soon as he started to have a mare, it just got worse for him every time he got the ball, type thing. But again, that was the one thing when I was looking at the bench today, to think, who could we bring on to replace him? Because it's Blair Spittle, potentially a Highland Forest, maybe, and you're thinking, oh, that's a bit stinky. But that's where, like, Azure or whatever's obviously going to come in and. Yeah,
Azure's your answer, isn't it? Or that's the supposed answer, is that Azure will fill that particular position and have that creativity, because I think you're right. I think Magnussen at times has looked not quite up to speed. I wouldn't have a problem with him actually even dropping out for Wednesday night to bring Chesnikov in, for example.
Yeah.
Well, remember that we faced the nightmare of Alec Gogic on Wednesday, who will become fucking Ronaldinho for 90 minutes. And also that, is it Kelly Phillips and all those players that just absolute hammer throwers that'll smash players.
Gigantor 11.
Aye, so it'll be interesting to see how we do set up on Wednesday. But like I said, I wouldn't be, like Givaldo says there, I wouldn't be absolutely against it or shocked if Magnussen dropped out for a bit. McEntee, is he injured or like for long, or are we expecting him back? 4
or 5 weeks, I think it was. Is that right?
All right, okay.
End of the month, beginning of Feb would be likelihood for him. Potential for the, I think it was, did I read somewhere, the Rangers game? So the Rangers game at Ibrox, I think it's the 14th of February, 15th of February, something like that.
Well, I turned 40 on the 9th of September, and about 3 days ago, I picked up Macy, who's my youngest. She ran and said, "Dad," and Hingwood, and I picked her up. And I've had a sore back since. I'm 40. 3 years younger than Craig Gordon. And Craig Gordon, I didn't even know what to say. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to talk about it. But you get good saves, great saves, unreal saves, world-class saves, and then there's a wee bracket where you get fuck off. You get those things. Fuck off. And that's it's not world-class, It's fuck off. It was insane. It's I can't watch it and be like, that's in. There's a goal. It's clearly when it hit his head, I was like, goal. I actually was looking at the ground, and the noise that I could hear, I actually thought was them celebrating until I started to get dragged, Rose down celebrating we'd scored the goal ourselves, and I was getting annoyed, thinking, why are we celebrating? Because it clearly is in. Like,
the player celebrated, the fans celebrated, everyone celebrated, and it just doesn't make sense because he's going the opposite way to begin with. How is he even turned that quickly and then got such a strong hand to it? It's mental.
His reaction when everybody goes round about him is, what the fuck? You could actually lip read it on camera. It's up there. It's up for me anyway. It's up there with a save that David Seaman made in the semi-final and FA Cup back in 2008 or something like that, where he gets his hand to a header, exactly the same, and claws it away. It's unreal. It really is unreal.
In terms of the context of it all and whatnot, and what it means for the general bigger picture, it has to be his best save he's had in a Hearts jersey, I would say. Anyway,
there's the Kevin Nisbet one at Hampden is insane. The David Clarkson one, v Motherwell, is insane. The triple save, yep, at Murrayfield is insane. The save at Livingston is insane. The
double save at Dingwall was insane.
Yeah,
is insane. That's just that's our second. As it stands now, he's our second choice goalkeeper. He'd get a game for every other team in the league easily, and he'd be a starter. And it's like I've said that the worst thing that we wanted for Craig Gordon was, and after last season, it was a genuine worry, was for him to peter away and leave you with memories of like his kick in the day abysmal. Like, it's shocking. Like, I know that's not what he's there for. Like, I know that's not why Craig Gordon gets a game. But when you've got Swallow, who's brilliant with the ball at his feet, great distribution, and then you're watching Gordon, it becomes so glaringly obvious why he's no starting. But then none of your goalkeepers, Ryan Fulton, Zander Clark, and Swallow, could be in goal for that header and no save it. And then he does that. It was fuck off. That is the bracket that it's in. It's up there. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Was it like a last minute winner in the stand? Obviously, you were.
It was like I'm not joking yet. As soon as it left his head, I did that, and then heard the cheer and the noise. And the only time I put my hand with that when people were grabbing me to celebrate, and I was like, "Why the fuck are you celebrating?"
For those only catching this on audio, Corbett has currently got his head outside his t-shirt.
Well, it was funny. We had I actually didn't realise until we were leaving that we were right at the very, very back in the back row. I was talking to there was a dad and his wife and a kid there, and I didn't realise that the kid had the Gorgie hat on right until the end. So they probably listened to the podcast. They'll have seen in full effect, hood up, looking at the ground for 55 minutes. They've probably seen every minute of what it's like to stand next to Corbett at football. But it was like it's again, I'm going to go back to what I said at the start. It's what the scenes at the end at the full-time whistle are what it should have been like at Livy last week. The context, this is what people forget about performance. We're in the business end of the season. When you go to the game on Wednesday, it doesn't matter how we perform. Go with the expectation. It'd be nice to see a performance. Absolutely. I'm going on Wednesday hoping that we win 4-0 and we play brilliant and Chesney gets a goal and Shankland and Braga Kizzy all score and it's great football and we absolutely batter them and we send a message to Celtic and Rangers and it's great. Brilliant. I'd love that. But if it's 1-0 and we're hanging on for dear life and we win, I couldn't care less because 3 points is all that matters. And the reaction at the end, the away end was absolutely bouncing because of the fact that, one, the save was incredible, but also we understood that 10 men, 45 minutes, Celtic won 4-0 yesterday, Rangers have got to play the worst team in the league. We knew that 3 points we had to win. So, it was like a last minute winner. It genuinely was.
And you know what? This is the type of ground out result that Celtic have done for years when they've been winning leagues. They've always back against the wall and then somehow came out with a result, and then that's what. And it's results like that you look back on the season, and if we do the unthinkable and actually win the league, you look at that save and go, that was key in part of it. Eh?
That was Callum McGregor smashing it into the top bag in the 96th minute at St Mirren for Celtic. That's exactly what that was. That was, and the thing that I like is that every Rangers fan was watching, every Celtic fan was watching, every Hibs fan was watching, and they would have been celebrating that was in, and they would have been devastated with the save. And that's massive. No, that's absolutely huge, because all they'll see when Rangers went back in to warm up or came out to start their game or whatever is they would have known that we've won. And that's all it is now. Between now and the end of the season is ping pong, smashing it back and forth over the table, right? Pressure's on you, cool, right? Pressure's on you. And somebody will buckle. And again, you look at when things go against you, 10 men, difficult venue, they won 3 in a row, your keeper's been sent off. Like, all of the mix was for that to be the day that the pressure told and we buckled. And I said all week to everybody that I've been at my work that the Martin O'Neill going back to Celtic, the pressure with Rangers playing their game in a game more than us, the gap only being 3, today was the biggest game of the season for us. Yeah. Because again, if we drop points today, all of the narrative would have been is that we crumbled because Martin O'Neill's back, can't handle the pressure, and we've went and won in really difficult circumstances, and it feels like a 2-0 with that save at the end. Like I said, it felt like a last minute winner, and it keeps huge momentum and growth. I said that to me and Kev spoke about this, the Levy having Kelly in our mind to grind out and win 1-0 to show that we can do the dirty work, we can see it and get it over the line, would be huge for our mentality, huge for momentum, and it's the same again today. That will be huge for the confidence in the group to know that we can go and dig something like that out.
Absolutely.
Surely we have comments. Surely we have some comments on how good this is. Surely.
Going to chuck one in, but I suppose it's a good point as well. What I ask you, Wee Man Wanjo says Gordon's save was the best moment of the season so far, and that's saying something. Reckon so? Halkett against Hibs,
aye. But it was and for the context and who he is, 100% Kev.
Yeah,
it's the same where Finley's goal at Tannadice, Kizzy's goal at whatever it's called, at Livy. Let's just call it. But all these things.
Home of the Sector Arena, mate.
My bad. But these things all start to, add up. And as far as I'm concerned, they're adding up in the right way. We just got to start, as you've said, believing for the stands now. We've got to start showing our worth and understanding that we can, we've got an amazing opportunity now. So we'll go with that. And as God Goodwood's reply says, massive win.
Yeah. And as you say, it's not something we would have won as well. Good point for Cavaldo. I don't know if you've watched this back, but the players in bench reaction says it all. Seeing Braga watch that back is tremendous on the iPad at the side.
And I know that the son's definitely listening to that, but I don't know if the TV showed you it, but Derek McInnes's reaction at full time was everything I want for a manager. He was obviously run straight to Craig Gordon, celebrates with Craig Gordon, but then he's like Stephen Presley smashing his chest, celebrating wildly with the fans, making Craig Gordon get a standing ovation, putting Craig Halkett in front of the fans to get an ovation, and that it was everything. And it's nice he's done brilliant at keeping his cool, all the time, try to keep level heads and that, but it shows you just how big a result it was that even the manager was almost in with the GU, fucking Dane Charlotte, all that. It was unbelievable.
I genuinely thought there was a bit of difference in the narrative he was speaking about post-match as well in the interviews. He seemed to change the way he was speaking in terms of he's always been give it two rounds of fixtures. We're not getting in the way, and now he's talking. What was he saying? We look after ourselves. Every game matters. It's about winning. Yeah, and you can see that's changed now.
He's a seasoned pro. He's a seasoned pro. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing, and this will be the first January transfer window that he's had with a successful team where his side hasn't been filleted and all his best players sold. Again, I'll keep going back to the thing that we should be the most excited about. There's two things. One, we've had one full shot of Jamestown in the summer, and look at the impact that it's had. Look at the players. Look at the difference in the players. Look at where we are in the league compared to where we were this time last year. And that's exciting. And we're having our second shot of it now. But the thing that I keep going back to, it's been 6 months with Derek McInnes. 6 months. And look at what he's done. You know, to forget about Braga and Kizzy and all these guys. Look at Devlin. Look at Benny. Look at Shankland. Look at Halkett. Look at the players that have been here for ages. He's taken them up a level. And then he's sprinkled in the Jamestown magic as well. But he's a proper manager. And like that's the most exciting thing is the fact that it's been 6 months. He was with Aberdeen for 8 years. Like to plot the trajectory of where we could be, you know, not having his team filleted every single 6 months. Something magic and special's happening at Tynecastle.
And that's just Kev's camera as well. He's just turned into a blur.
Mate, he's loving it. Look at Kev. It's absolutely superb.
No, but you're right. It's very exciting, and even with the Jamestown stuff, and you're seeing the signings we've already made. We're filling the gaps, and it's very exciting, and or should I say, very fucking nerve-wracking at this point in time.
Well, I keep going back to, and I know that McInnes will be telling everybody the same thing. Is I know that it's easier said than done, but I don't see what we have to fear. If for 40 years, the same thing has happened. So if we don't win the league, what's going to happen? The same thing that happened to us last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before, and every year that I've been alive. Doesn't mean anything. Like, what I've said it for ages and ages. Tony Bloom said that Hearts were here to disrupt Scottish football. We have absolutely disrupted Scottish football. And the thing now is that this is us part of the conversation forever. That's it. Like that, we will be in the conversation. We are part of the conversation. We're not going to go away. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not just this season. It's not just because Celtic and Rangers have been poor. Tony Bloom identified something in the Scottish game where he said that the Old Firm are a house of cards, and there's an opportunity to get in them and to get at them. And if you can make one of them collapse, then you'll be absolutely golden and we'll be ready and there to pounce. I didn't expect it to be Celtic. I didn't expect it to be Rangers so early on. But again, you look at, we've not even we've only had one part of Jamestown, which is identifying and bringing people in. When we start to do the incremental player sales and start to make money from a Braga, from a Kizaridis, you know, that's when it's going to start to make a real difference. And you can see it when Rangers and Celtic with their transfer window. Like I said, Celtic from day one have needed a striker. Yeah, they went at home yesterday against the poor Dundee United side, but they're not playing an actual striker. They've not signed anybody, not brought anybody in. Rangers, I think, only made their first signing yesterday or this morning with a guy from Sturm So we're already confident where we need to go. So, yeah, proper buzzing. And it rolls on to Wednesday night, where again, it just becomes game after game. You can only look after what you can look after.
Every game at this stage is just biggest game of the season, and then on to the next one. And it is exactly that. Yeah,
and I think, like I said, you're looking at the home games and saying that That's what I'm saying. So tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Heart Standard, big conversation, bit of a big fact-finding mission. Talk to the fans as much as we can about atmosphere, so we can go back to the club to talk about what could potentially be done. But you're looking at the home games, saying if you take care of the home games, then the away games, you can go into them with a little bit of momentum. Whereas if you're not picking up maximum points at home, it puts loads of pressure on you to have to go to these difficult venues and win. I think we've got Dundee United away on the 31st after we play Celtic.
Yep.
So there is a difficult away games coming, but we've got to make sure that the home games take care of themselves, because that's where the difference is going to be.
I think it's really important as well that this is the sort of game in hand we have as well. You would fully expect Celtic to go to Falkirk on Wednesday as well and win. So we really need.
I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
No, I'm not convinced. I don't think that I expect them fully to go there and win. I think that's a difficult game. I believe, is that the one that's on the telly, or the on the telly on Wednesday?
Not honestly sure.
It's a plastic pitch. Falkirk have won, three and a bounce. They're basically cementing their place in the top 6. They have an opportunity to close the gap on Hibs and Motherwell above them. Yeah, I don't think it's on Premier
Sports. You were right.
I don't think it's a full-run conclusion that they'll rock up there and win. And again, this doesn't. I don't want to sound like pure bitter grapes or whatever, because sour grapes, whatever it's called, no bitter grapes. What the fuck's that? But the whole matter, there's two sides to the Martin O'Neill first time round story. Yeah, won 7 out of 8, but if Hearts had done their job, we'd have still been 10 points in front of Celtic. Yeah, if we'd beaten Dundee United and beaten St Mirren, we'd have been 10 points in front, and no one would have been quite still having the same conversation. The reason that the narrative is what it is with Martin O'Neill is because we were dropping points, and that was the little wobble, and they seemed to close the gap on us. And then obviously they brought Nancy in, and their worlds collapsed type thing. So I'm not 100% convinced that Martin O'Neill's going to absolutely run away with everything in the league. Obviously, he's a very, very good manager. And I think that the man management side of it, he'll get the best out of that team. Tactically, I'm not 100% convinced that they look totally and utterly solid. They're going to need reinforcements.
Yeah.
I had an interesting rumour that Rodgers has got a job out in Saudi and interested in taking McGregor out there. Well, if they were to lose McGregor, that would be a massive, massive hole to fill.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, so.
that was nearly. I thought you had Kev's Wi-Fi there with the pause you had.
It was a dramatic pause because Wilson texted me talking shite and it distracted me because I read it. I shouldn't have read it. Cool. Right. Any other comments on the game? Anything else that jumps off that we want to talk about before we move?
All good. Final point by Jordan, and it's kind of what we've said. At this time of the season, it's just about winning. Doesn't matter how we win. A win is a win, which
yep, I absolutely agree. And those types of wins today they make a huge, they build momentum. And again, I'm going to go back like a broken record. We need Tynecastle to be like that away end at full time today. We have to. That's going to be the difference. It's a difference maker. We can't show up to the game on Wednesday and just expect that we win 3 points and we get entertained. We have our part to play. We need to get behind the team. There'll be times in the game where we're lacking, and they need a G up. They need the fans to be there behind them because we make a huge difference. It starts to bug me a wee bit when you hear McInnes and the likes talk about how good the atmosphere is at Tynecastle. And I'm like, this is shite. This is like 30%. Imagine what it could be like if it was 80, 90% every single game. It'd be phenomenal. So we've got a part to play on Wednesday. Wednesday's huge. You get your game in hand, 6 points minimum that we end up in front of our rivals. Obviously, if Celtic slip up, then you can increase that. You can increase that lead more, but we just have to make sure we take care of ourselves first and foremost.
Yeah, agree.
Right. We do some predictions.
Who's
Did
first?
you go to speak there, Kev? I thought you made a noise that you were going to go. You've just went a blur again, so I can't see if
Yeah, you can.
Go for it, Kev.
I was just sticking the fingers up at you, Tam, while I'm a blur. I think it will be close. I'll go 2-1 Hearts.
Thomas.
2-0 for me.
1-1 for me. Let's keep it consistent.
Yep.
Right. We're at, it's an 8 o'clock kickoff for Falkirk in the Scottish Cup.
Aye.
Correct.
Aye.
Mate, that should be absolutely bouncing.
That's what I'm hoping the next two games with the atmosphere, they should take care of themselves in terms of nighttime games because they always have a bit of different feel to them. But yeah, Saturday night should be class.
Remember and buy your ticket because I definitely forgot to buy my ticket.
I actually can't make it, unfortunately. I've got tickets to something else, and had it been a 3 o'clock, it would have been fine.
Oh, you got to Levy, are you?
Fuck's sake, Tam.
No,
You want to see Mr. Saturday night at Levy, are you?
Mr. Saturday night, no, get me free tickets now.
It's the home of the Set Fair Arena. No, I'm not getting you free tickets. I'm not indulging your Levy habit. It's not happening.
I'm kidding on. Anyway.
Right, Trips. We'll try and get a podcast in between St Mirren and Falkirk. If not, it'll be this time next week, Sunday night, after both games. Hopefully 2 wins, 2 victories to talk about. But aye, go watch that Craig Gordon save. That's the most fuck off save you'll ever see. We're going to be hanging about that. We'll be hanging about that all night. I'm going home to make the missus put gloves on. Gonna get her in the net, staying we half volleys. Right, boys, I'll see you after.
Catch you later on.
See you later.
Gorgados.